All right. We're here with Kevin Henderson. This is
right.
Voodoo and
yeah.
me, Sebastian from MRTV. And Kevin, you want to show something interesting to our viewers, which is...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here it comes. Wow.
So
We
it's
have the new Pimax RE series. This is our ruggedized series of devices that are where we have a lot of water resistance and shock resistance built in. All metal switches, metal innards, conformal coating. And what you don't see here yet is the new face pad, but very soon we'll be demoing versions of this that have the new pad. But you can see on the top we have the metal buttons. It's got an all new coating for the outer housing, and this is just a much more rugged version designed for museums and LBE locations and a lot of other things where they can get beat up. So that's one of the things we're showing at GTC, but here we are at GDC 2019.
at the very end of the GC, the last few hours.
That's right, sort of towards the tail end of it there, yeah. But yeah, talking about new versions. Of course, this is only a prototype that we're showing, but so it's going to take a couple months for us to continue to refine it and add to it. Next versions that we show will have the new face pad, and it'll have the new rigid audio, what we call the rigid audio head strap, which has the earphones, but we're working on the comfort aspect of the head strap and the foam, and the foams will have that one we're talking about is Apex foam, which is made for very repeated uses in a large environment with a crowd in effect. So, but anyone will be able to get these things. They won't be limited to just businesses. So if someone feels feels the need that they want this version, I think there would be no problem.
So I think for me the interesting part is the waterproofing. Since I like to sweat. When I play some games.
Sure.
So you believe this is going to withstand the MRTV sweat test?
Are you going to throw it in a fishbowl?
Yeah.
It would be the fish.
I'm inside.
The famous fishbowl test, the shower test.
Right.
So, no, I don't think it would do the shower test well or a fishbowl test, but the sweat test, I think it will pass that quite easily.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Can you tell us how you sweat-proof this? Because, we know there's so many problems with the Vive headsets, right? So tell us how you did that.
What we do is we use conformal coating on the boards, and actually at DTC we broke it all apart so people could see all the innards. But basically we have a new version of electronics that spreads the heat out more. It lets us conformally coat it properly and have it where all the electronics are completely protected. And then we have some new pieces inside that hold the boards in place. And so when you have an impact, we doing experimentation on the different kinds of impacts when people are in a LBE and they're running through a maze or something and they hit the sides
against the wall,
play horror games and then running through.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen graveyards of LBE headsets. So this is something that should allow them to keep their device that is where the revenue comes from in operation all the time.
So this can fall down, and it will be okay?
Yeah,
let's try.
You should have seen me. You would think I was on my trip here. You'd think I was experimenting with it that way.
You tried it.
But yeah, I got that firsthand several times. But yeah, and this is using a new coating. We don't know if this will wind up being the final coating. But this is a very nice coating that is used to prevent scratches and other things, and to keep it nice and pristine looking, even if it gets beat up.
Right.
So
I can scratch it and it doesn't. That's good.
It is good.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty robust coating, and the coating is also intended to keep it from real heavy impacts from just negatively leaving a bad mark that you could. This is intended to keep marks from impacts down where they're hard to see.
Nice. Also, the buttons are different now. They look different. Yeah,
the buttons are metal and all the internal mechanisms are metal. And as we move, we actually are using those are metal buttons, but we're actually experimenting with the types of metal that we're going to be
Right.
using in the buttons. But all of the front on the new version, this front line won't line up because this entire piece is metal.
All right.
This is also metal.
Yeah.
So no more LED lighting.
What?
now.
No blue
On the
light?
on the
You
consumer
cannot do
ones.
that.
No more blinking. Boom, boom.
No.
On the consumer ones, it'll have that.
Okay.
On the ruggedized ones, you won't.
That's okay, I believe. I mean, the blinking
I need
was.
On the consumer ones, we're going to do some more things with that.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, on this one, it's going to be our entire focus revolves around protecting it against all the eventualities
Right.
of getting beat up in a business environment.
So what about the head strap? I want a head strap.
Yeah, well, of course, we have the rigid audio head strap that we're been experimenting with for a while, and and I've tested it myself, and I do like it. But they're out of maybe 150 people we've tested it with, maybe 3
Liked it?
no, didn't. Oh yeah, liked it.
Like it. Okay.
No, maybe 3 or ones that were just wouldn't fit. And so we're still iterating, trying to catch. We figure if we can catch those 3 and still keep the other 147 happy,
Right.
that we'll have something. We'll have a winner. But so yeah, I think probably the next time that we show this, we'll be showing that along with the new PEX face phones. We have quite a few of them in the lab, and that were tested daily with all the testers. So. Next steps would be to get these things out to guys like you, and especially
Yeah.
to give us the
That's
thumbs
good.
up or the thumbs down, and really
Right.
run it through a good
Run it. TV sweat test. I will do it. I will do it.
We were also showing the eye tracking at GTC,
Okay.
and we were showing how this new. We've been one of the things I mentioned a little bit was that when you add eye tracking, especially the eye tracking that the backers are going to get, that's part of their their Kickstarter. Is to make sure that you don't, when you snap in the eye tracking, you lose a little bit of field of view because it's a snap in from the outside. So one of our focuses is to make sure that we don't negatively impact that in fundamental ways. So we've got the leading edges of the pickups down to a very small piece. So you only lose a very slight amount. And our first prototypes, though, it was something that you could really tell. So now we've got it down where it's barely noticeable.
Great. For both the RE version and the consumer version?
Yes,
Will you use the same
our
eye tracking
plan.
module?
Yes, our plan is for all of our modules, and there's quite a few both in testing and various things that will become available. But the plan is for all the modules to be compatible with any Pimax headset,
Right.
no matter when you bought it.
Okay.
So you can attach the modules on the top, or on the bottom. You can run 2,
Okay.
and you can even daisy chain them. So theoretically, you could have more than 2. So you could have housings that have 2, where there's really 2 modules integrated into one,
okay.
and it just snaps in.
Interesting.
And we actually have. Oh, by the way, at GTC we were showing an inside-out tracker for the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Inside out tracking
What?
for the
Yeah.
Pimax.
Oh my
Officially. Officially confirmed,
Not officially, but we were the unit. I'm sure people will point out that came to the booth and saw us using that.
Okay.
Will say, "Oh, what was this?"
Right.
And it was we have it where you just attach it to the bottom, and we were doing a couple of our demos. We were doing an architectural demo with a company called Ecoplants, who does high-res textures, and those demos we were doing with the inside-out tracker on the Pimax. You just snap it right in, run their app. We were working. We were playing around with Steam games and
Nice.
Oculus things and all that with the inside-out tracker.
Cool.
It does work. It wasn't real pretty yet, but it does. It's great. It works perfect.
Cool. So when is the RE version going to come out? When people will buy this?
I think that most likely these will be released in the next couple of months.
Okay.
And we'll have again. It'll be a deal where we produce few, and we just ramp it up.
Okay.
Luckily, in this case, though, it's not hard compared to some of the other things.
Right.
Building the ruggedized electronics. All of those things. We use the parts as they move through the process. It's the same. It's basically the same process, but with adders.
Okay.
Where you use different components here and there.
So I have another question. With the What's with the cable? So some people had problems with the cable, were destroyed or had problems.
Right.
What's with this version?
Originally, with the cable, you know what a continuity check is? Where you just check to make sure all the signal passes through the cable. That's how they tested it at the plant, at the third-party plant where we buy the cables. They had a check for that, but there was some cables that had some of the material that you actually protect from EMI interference with had gaps in it,
Okay.
and so those people are getting actually interference from their processor and their computer mostly. That's what they're seeing in many cases, and so we do a full physical check on the cables now.
That's a good
on
idea.
a headset. So we just included that with the regular testing. This was almost 3 months ago when we did that. So when we started adding, but of course it takes time for people when people start to receive them. It's months later. So what the kinds of things that you see now are all often things from months ago.
Right.
But on the cables now, no, we've gotten shipments of hundreds of cables that we've sent out to people.
But the cable for this one is going to be thicker or different?
This has a different cable completely. It's got different sleeve. It's got different housing. It's got different connectors. It is much stronger.
Okay.
It's a cable that literally, it even has, when you plug it into an example at GTC, someone stepped on the cable right on the back of the PC. They got their foot on that. And it literally ripped the cable, pulled it down, and it bent it to almost a 90-degree angle.
Right.
On the new cable that's for the Ruggedized edition, that's basically impossible. It'll lift the whole computer up when you do that.
Okay. All right. So it's ruggedized.
It's a monster cable, not literally a trademark.
So the connector will not fit in the standard?
This side of the cable, this one will, but it's got a sleeve. It's got a sleeve that comes down.
Okay, so could I buy the cable?
Theoretically,
separately?
I'm not against opening it up. It would be a little bit more money for that.
Okay.
Kind of a little bit expensive cable.
Right.
It's like an extra, $10 or $15. But
Probably worth it. How about the length?
It's for that one right now. It's like a 9-meter cable.
9 meters. Yeah, that's enough.
9 meters.
9 meter.
It's like 20-foot cable.
That is like very long.
Yeah, and then we have the regular one that's really close to the regular size. But the one that we've been testing with is for LBEs,
Right.
and for venues. So it's a low impedance cable, but it's a very strong low impedance cable. We're going to have a shorter one too.
Okay.
Having different lengths of that same cable is no big deal.
Good.
So some people had problems with these edges here. They are breaking without even touching.
Yeah, that's all from housings that were made.
Okay, so I see here some problems as well. Is that
you should have seen what caused that problem? a drop from about 8 feet.
8 feet. Okay, so you already tested it.
I didn't mean to, but yeah.
So the edges are now safer than with the older versions.
Yeah, I thought we were due. When I dropped it like that, I thought, man, it was far worse than than what we planned for. So the fact that it bounced around like that on a concrete floor was a pretty good test, unintended.
So it came back up when it bounced.
I tried to actually. Here's what's really bad in my clumsiness. I grabbed it and it went back down again. Okay. But no, it's a vastly improved on that. But as far as the housings themselves go, most of the housings aren't actually vulnerable directly to cracking and that kind of thing. But there was an error in the process when they were being made. That originally, a while back, where the cooling process, and we have another process that happens after the cooling called deburring, and that's where you smooth out the plastics and get all the edges and all the little flecks off. They had a deburring process that was causing microfractures especially from the edges, and. But no, I haven't seen that on any of the housings that are the newer ones. I'm talking about when I say newer, months ago. Of course, some of the housings that passed the test, they were still trying to use them. Some of them, where they got past all the analysis, because they have a vibration test and a whole bunch of them were still used. So some of them were used in even more recent devices. So the fact that if you have a recent device, there's still a chance that you could have that, one of the original housing. So, but there wasn't, but about even of the original housing, there's only like 1,400 of them, and only maybe 10% of those had that deburring process and cooling process. So I suspect we'll see those 140 units, all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So did you change anything with the lenses? I don't think so.
No.
That's the same lenses then with the
right
original ones.
No, it's the same lenses as the original ones. The electronics are basically the same, but we've done some things to spread the heat out differently because of the conformal coating, and and we have stronger connectors and some other things, but for the board itself. But yeah.
So how hot will the device become? Because now you have this coating, right? So there must be some kind of heat.
It's just spread out more.
Okay.
So you don't see it concentrated.
Right.
Okay.
It's the same as before on the heat, except it's spread out over a wider area.
Okay, cool. So you're going to have 3 versions of this: 5K plus
for now, yeah.
5K OLED, and 8K.
Right. It'll be the same 3 versions we had, but in a ruggedized. There's probably 25 improvements on the ruggedization on the device.
Cool.
To provide a nice value proposition for businesses.
And the device is going to be roughly $500 more expensive than the base version.
Yeah, the 5K Plus is $12.99.
Okay, cool. You have the price already, so
that's cool.
You can tell all the prices, perhaps.
Yeah, the 5K Plus is $12.99. The 8K is $14.99, and the OLED is $15.99.
Okay, cool.
For the ruggedized version.
Great.
And the prices on our existing versions are unaffected.
Perfect.
Okay. And of course, we're going to be getting out the next step to some of the backers with the face pads and.
Right.
And of course, we've got our glasses, adjust our insert for the glasses.
Probably you can tell us a bit more about the new foam packs. You said it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's for the ruggedized version.
Yeah, right.
Although we'll probably,
it's not this one.
I'm sure we'll make all of those parts available to anyone. We're not going to just say, this SKU is exactly for this guy. We're gonna list all those out, and you'll be able to get them.
Okay.
But we have, as you can see, even on this, it's a thick. You got some people have them where the foam is actually stronger. It keeps your distance from the lenses a little bit more. But we have 4 of these foams as well, and 3 new ones. So. That's something that people are going to see very rapidly, I think. And then, of course, the rigid head strap, which is something we've been working on a great deal.
Will you ship us more pieces of that with the ruggedized version? So some people have a better or less distortion if the piece is more.
I put a lot of thought into that on these new foam pads.
Okay.
And so they actually cause the distance to be different. And they also have thicker padding in different areas. We've been trying to sort of boil down the people that get improvements into just a few more. So we didn't want to have 50 foam pads. We wanted to try to boil those features down where people get the best experience down into just a few more.
Okay, cool.
And then make those easily available. Maybe even include them, in future devices. Just have the multiple ones in the box.
Okay. I think our viewers are very excited about the head strap.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, tell us when can the backers or the general public when they get the head strap?
That'll come down to the results from the testing. I think we'll very soon, the next few weeks, they'll start entering into some decent testing. If the testing reveals that changes need to be, come back and, like you and Voodoo here, come back and say, oh my God, what were you thinking? If it's something like that and we need to make significant changes, especially changes that cause us to change the tool, then you're going to add 30 days to it.
Yeah.
And then we do it again. Although we've been doing a lot of internal testing, I hope that your reaction to it will be positive.
I hope so as well.
Are we talking within the next 3 months or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Within the next 3 months, we can get
I think
first
you'll
version.
get to see it, and then we'll do some
Right.
public things, and people we'll get some review units of some of these parts out, so people can check it out. And again, when we do that, we would ask that you make sure people know that those are prototypes. And
Yeah.
Sure.
they might be very close to the final.
Okay.
Those
Right.
will be like 95%
Okay.
devices.
Good.
And of course, as you know, we've got the availability now very, very soon on the lighthouses. So
Right. That's a big.
we've,
That's a
we've
big
got
deal
that.
as well.
We've got those, and as people pointed out, there's incompatibility issues between the new lighthouses and some of the existing in the existing parts. So it becomes very debatable whether we should just ship them
Right.
alone.
For the people who like just simulators will be okay, but people who like controllers,
Yeah, that's,
they will
need
need
both.
them. So talking about the controllers, where are we now with controllers?
We go through iterations 2 or 3 times a week with controllers.
Okay.
The controllers are they're the ones I have are functional. They have basically all the features that give them feature parity with other controllers I have that are in prototyping right now.
From other companies.
That we work with.
Yeah,
We're
right.
happy to do so.
They give boring press conferences. Yeah. These companies.
I think that the controllers will be in limited production, next month, in very, very small production next month, as we speculated before.
Okay, you got our address.
I still think that. I think that the production ramp up will be shortly after that. Once again, depending on the result of the testing.
Right.
So
Okay.
if we go through some rounds, we make more and more and more, and if it's something that it seems okay, we give the green light and we just go down.
Yeah, sure.
One thing that we do that speeds things up a lot, that maybe people don't know, is that when you build something like that has a lot of parts to it, a lot of components to it, when you get the green light on components that have no chance of change, we go ahead and make them in quantity.
Right.
So a lot of time when you go through the final piece of the process, it moves much faster.
Yeah.
And so my anticipation would be during the summer, as I said before at the CES, during the summer we'll have large quantities of them.
Okay. Cool.
And I think we'll actually, just another thing I'll say, I think by that time we'll have the entire bundle package.
That's going to be important, I think.
Where people don't need to have a Vive or don't need to have
Right.
any of the existing parts.
Right.
It'll be a fully bundled, in a box bundle available.
It will be important.
Yeah.
And now that we've at least got all the Kickstarters at least shipped to the freight forwarder, we're not manufacturing any devices for Kickstarters anymore. And we've even manufactured, I think, all the pre-orders as well, and they're going to the freight forwarder. So all these people can expect to see their devices if they don't already have them. Most people do. The vast majority of people do.
Great.
So
Yeah.
we're past that stage.
Anything more to ask, or
There was a
anything
lot
more,
of cool information.
or anything
yeah.
more? Anything more to add?
No, we're just excited to finally get these things into the next stages, where we're offering the complete package, where we're giving. We have some pilots coming up with in things like retail and some national internet capability that we can't quite announce yet, but we're going to have general availability in ways that you haven't seen before. And the other thing is our office is limited, but it is open. Our U.S. office is now open, and we are processing support and warranty and things from our Shanghai office. So they send us almost 15% of the tickets now, and we're increasing that every day. Our goal in the next month or so is to start moving that up towards 100%.
Okay.
So in the next 90 days at the most, we'll be processing all of the tickets. So I guess what it boils down to is when you hit this summer, especially in North America, not only will they have general availability in full packages with the full bundles, but you'll also have local support be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, and all of those things. And we're going to do that in Europe as well. And I'm operating the European operation now as well.
Congratulations to that.
Yeah. So we're going to be adding.
So now you need to learn German as well. Yeah? So
I'm hoping. Yes, right. I'm hoping to have some help.
It's not a problem.
I believe you're going to get some.
Unfortunately, we have no shortage of that. So of people are quite passionate about VR, like we are.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of people out there that want to have something that tries to push the envelope in a lot of ways, and that's the person we want to try to satisfy. So, and you can expect us to continue to do that, and you can expect us to stay ahead of the curve with future things.
Right. You want to service the VR enthusiast, right?
We do, and that's our bread and butter. We hope that other companies can really get VR into the hands of as many people as possible, and we root for them to a very great deal. And and we just hope that VR people find more and more reasons to jump into VR, even if whoever they choose. But we hope to build a very compelling case to choose us.
Right.
Sure.
And that means we have to everybody we have to improve, but we definitely have to improve and keep moving forward. And I think we will be able to show that. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for telling us about about Pimax RE versions on the market very soon, in a couple of months. And very interesting for businesses, location-based, and even for us consumers who sweat a lot.
And we'll have a lot more to show. In the coming months, we'll have a pretty regular flow of things that people will get to see.
Sounds interesting.
And people will get to experience. At least people that test these things will get to experiment with. And we are interested in opening it up where people can kind of get along with the ride and seeing what you guys think.
Cool.
So I think we're going to be real friendly when it comes to that. So I hope that we can do this again.
Yeah, we will. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
This can be purchased from pimaxvr.com. Right?
Yes, we're going to open up a B2B portal that'll have these devices and the accessories. And like I say, some of these accessories are going to also be available on the consumer portal. So I think we're not going to hold things back where people can just get them one way or the other.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For you guys, make sure to subscribe to MRTV and to Voodoo here. And looking forward to see you in the next video soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.